Hello, it's me again, Eric P. Today's story is called Lucky Luigi, although Frank is the main part of this story, I'd say, or Unlucky Frank, as I know him as. It started out, this guy had ran up a few debts and that with his horses. You know, he was gambling. He wasn't very good at it. His horses were coming in that late, they had to tiptoe back to the stable. That's just how bad at gambling he was. So he lost quite a lot of money. He did pay his gambling debts off, but it left him really broke and he couldn't pay his rent and stuff, and then he lost his job. So, yeah, things were looking bleak. Anyway, this guy offered him the chance to be a getaway driver. He'd never committed any crimes before. He wasn't very good at it. You know, he was useless, in fact. But yeah, he agreed to it anyway. So this guy did a robbery, jumped in the back. Anyway, he made the mistake of using his own car with his own licence plates, which was a bit of a mistake. Secondly, he forgot to put fuel in the car, so he went about 10 feet and then broke down. Needless to say, he did get caught, and he got sentenced to 8 years. So that's pretty much where the story starts. I'll tell you all about it now. I'll show you a quick picture, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, that was just a quick picture, just to break the monotony up, should I say. I tried ordering some shoes the other week. My feet have been giving me a bit of jip. So I thought I'd look for some nice soft shoes to walk in. So I typed the word air soles in, and I got, oh, bloody hell, the images. Yeah, I got some right images coming up. Apparently they're called cushion soles. So if you're ever looking for comfy shoes, don't type in the word air soles, because you get completely different results to what you're looking for. Well, I did. Anyway, let's get back to Frank. Like I said, Frank was on his first day in this American state penitentiary place. Oh, it was rough. There was some right proper cutthroats in here. It was some right fucking evil-looking characters. So, like, his first day, he walked in, and he's talking to this other guy, this, like, career criminal that got talking to him. He says, look, he says, if you want to make it in here, he said, you've got to make an example. He said, you've got to show that, you know, you're a tough hombre and nobody should mess with you. He said, well, how do I do that? He said, look, he said, see that weak, sinewy-looking guy there, the weedy-looking one. He said, just try and start a fight with him, fill him in, you know, proper give him a beating, and the rest will all leave you alone while you're in here. Frank said, well, if you think it'll help. He says, it will help, trust me. He said, it's the right thing to do. So Frank says, right, I'll do that. So as the guy walks off, Frank moseying on over like John Wayne, and he says, oi, yo. And this guy says, what is it? What is the problem? He said, you were looking at me. He said, I was looking at nobody. I wasn't looking at anybody. He said, you were bloody looking at me. And now, you're going to get filled in. I don't like people looking at me. I wasn't looking at you. I don't know what you're on about. Oh, you are cruising for it, fella. Right, that's it. So he starts hitting him, and this bloke shouting, Mamma mia, Mamma mia, Mamma mia. 2 black eyes, teeth hanging out. Oh, he's proper filling this old Italian guy in. He says, I bloody hate ice cream. I'll get a bloody slice of pepperoni pizza and I'll shove it right where the sun don't shine. I do not like people like you. So he filled him in. Anyway, he walks away, dead proud of himself. All the other inmates are shocked. They're all got their mouths open. Total shock. So he just walks back. Anyway, the guy we're speaking to suddenly appears. He says, bloody hell, Frank, what have you just done? He says, well, I've made an example. Nobody in here will mess with me now, eh? He said, bloody hell, Frank, you've just filled Lucky Luigi in. He said, who's Lucky Luigi? He said, like one of the biggest mafia bosses in America. So, so Frank's like, oh, bugger. My luck all over that. They had to put him in solitary confinement for about 6 months. And then they changed his identity and moved him to another prison. Apparently there was a contract out on him. All went pretty bleak after that. Right, I'll show you another picture just to break the monotony up, and we'll take it from there. Right, here we go. Here's another picky. Yeah, so things weren't looking good for Frank there. He made a bit of a mistake. What a mistake at the maker, as they say. They moved him to another prison, but then his identity got out, you know, and then he was in danger again, so they had to put him back in solitary confinement. He got moved about 3 times. Anyway, they decided to give him like an early chance at parole. So he's in front of the parole board, and he thought, well, I don't know whether I'll get parole, but with a bit of luck I will. So he sat there at the parole meeting thing, and one of the head guys there turns around. He said, look, he says, I think you've served your time. You seem a nice guy. Your record's pretty immaculate. I think it's time we give people like you a chance. He says, in fact, he says, I think I can get you a job in a restaurant. He says, so you'll have a nice job and a good chance at a future. He says, what do you think of that? So Frank says, oh, that's great. You know, I like a nice chance to like turn my life around. So yeah, I appreciate that. He said, not a problem. He says, like I said, my cousin owns a restaurant. I can get you a job. So hopefully that security will help build your future and you can stay away from crime. I mean, you've only committed one crime, so obviously, you know, there's still a chance to turn your life around. So Frank was dead chuffed with this. So yeah, they give him parole, so he was released. And then apparently, about a week later, they found his body. Apparently, he drove to like one of these junkyards and he drove his car into like the compressor and he'd forgot to get out. So yeah, they reckon it was suicide because he was a bit depressed. But like his friends and family were a bit suspicious. So they demanded on an autopsy, even though there wasn't much of him to autopsy because his car was like a cube. But they checked. Anyway, they found traces of pepperoni pizza in his rectal cavity. Apparently, the restaurant he got a job at was an Italian one, but they said he never arrived. He's meant to start a shift at 7 o'clock, but he didn't get there, apparently. The owner said he'd never seen him. He said, no idea what happened to him. So yeah, so not everybody thinks it was suicide. It does look a little bit suspicious to me, so it looks like Lucky Luigi got to him in the end. So a bit of a sad story for old Frank there. So yeah, I just thought I'd tell you about that. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get. So any subscriptions, likes, notifications, if you could just click all them, it'd be great. Right, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you later. Right, I'm off. See you later. Bye.